God. What does that mean? That God would allow you to fall into idolatry, into your love for sin, and would allow you to be healthy and to be rich your whole life, and to be disobedient against God and never notice the badness and the evil of your disobedience, and that on the day of judgment you would have to give account to God, and you would be found guilty of sins, not freed. It was a good time in your life, but then you came up to the judgment throne and you were condemned. But it is merciful when God allows sickness to come into us and to humble ourselves. It is merciful of God when He breaks us and when He says, you don't know everything. You see how you messed up here, but you can correct yourself. You can rise up again. A pastor I go to Bible college, brothers and sisters, on Monday nights. And the pastor, the instructor, was saying, brothers and sisters, I was a newly installed pastor. And in the history of our church, no one had ever bought a temple for our little church. And so what I decided in my heart is that I would build the building for this church. I would buy the temple. And there wasn't a lot of brothers, and the ministers opposed me, and the deacons opposed me, and the brothers and sisters opposed me, and sometimes there was only one more family, and my wife and I had to preach to them alone. But I continued on. I pressed on. I continued to build that. I continued to build that temple in that building. And one morning, I was very happy. Everything seemed to be going out well. And I was painting the roof. And then I fell and my leg broke, brothers and sisters, he told us. And then, the day that the church was dedicated, that great day when I'm supposed to be in the front and I'm supposed to preach, that day when the bishop comes and greets me and says, what a good job you've done, pastor. That day, I'm in a wheelchair and my leg is shattered, but thanks be to God, he said furthermore, because there I remember, it's all about God. It's all about God. I'm not the show here. It's all about God. In my chair, I will praise God. Thank God when tribulation and trial come, because we remember God is my salvation. God is my freedom. Not a freedom that comes from me, nor a salvation that is formed from my own hand. God sets me free. God broke the people of Israel in foreign lands and allowed them to resettle in those lands under another empire. But then he brings them back. And there's always an empire that rules over Israel until recent days, amen.